Good afternoon, guys!
Good afternoon, ma'am!
Welcome back to the new episode of Vibe Check.
Being real while we chill.
This is Mau.
Simena.
Sophia.
Gia.
And I'm Kat. So, kamusta naman kayo, guys? Ang bilis, no? Friday na naman agad. Matatapos na yung week.
Sobrang nakakapagod, sobrang hectic ng week na to para sa akin kasi I had my first coverage then ito yung second coverage ko ngayong araw. Tapos yun, so far wala pa akong kain. Kayo ba?
Ako nakakain, surprisingly, nakakain ako this morning dahil sa mom ko. Pero ayun, super hectic din ang week ko because of many coverage and not from morning to night. True ba?
Pero alam mo, napag-usapan din namin ni Simena, sobrang thankful ko sa work. Kasi we were talking about sleep. It's hard to sleep pag hindi ka pagod. So, mas okay na rin na may ginagawa ka throughout the week. Diba? Mas okay yung pahinga mo pag busy ka talaga eh. And mas fulfilling yung pakiramdam. Ikaw ba, Gia?
Nakatulog naman din. Tsaka nakakain din ng breakfast.
That's good. Sana all.
Ang ano lang talaga, kasi nga umuulan, parang hirap din mag-commute. Kaya buti na lang sama-sama tayo na yun.
Ang hirap na mag-book ng Grab kanina.
Ikaw, Kat, nakakain ka ba?
Actually, yes, nakakain ako dahil hinihintay ko talagang humina yung ulan before I go outside the house. Pero unfortunately, medyo hindi. Talagang yung mga dinaanan, medyo delikado na. Parang,
medyo baha na siya.
Oo, you know. Kaya, ayun, yun yung naging challenge ko for the morning. Pero, nakakain naman ako ng ayos. So.
Importante, we all push through. We're all
Yeah.
Diba? Nandito tayong lahat.
Naman tayo lahat.
We all made it here.
So ayun, before we dive into our kwentuhan and chikahan, let's first discuss today's headlines. Kat, will you please do the honors of reading what's in the news today?
So, for our first headline, ICC ruling coming on OSD appeal. So, this is something that has bled on from the Duterte administration hanggang ngayon sa Marcos administration. So, we might be wondering ano na nga bang ganap dito sa issue na to. So, sa Tuesday, July 18, the ICC or the International Criminal Court will release its ruling on whether to continue or halt the investigation of drug war-related killings in the Philippines. So, ang gist ng article ay, the Office of the Solicitor General appealed that our justice system is enough to investigate on the matters and that the ICC has no jurisdiction over the Philippines. However, the Philippines has only been absolved sa Rome Statute in 2019. So, the ICC argued na yung drug war-related killings from 2011 to 2019 is still valid for their investigation.
Also, COA flags Baguio for fund misuse. The Baguio City Administration, led by Mayor Benjamin Magalong, has come under fire from the Commission on Audit for misusing funds meant for a national project. According to the audit, the city government diverted 50 million pesos in funds from the Department of Public Works and Highways from the construction of the multi-purpose building at the Athletic Bowl Oval at Burnham Park in Baguio City to pay for the progress billing of the Youth Convergence Center and Sports Complex project.
So, for our third headline naman is ERC ready for battle. So, ERC Chairperson Lawyer Mona Lisa Di Malanta clarified that the Court of Appeals decision is not yet final since under the Electric Power Industry Reform Act, only the Supreme Court can perform a permanent injunction on rate hikes. Kaso no Wednesday, the Court of Appeals granted the motion for certiorari filed by San Miguel Energy Corp that they voided the decision of the ERC which denies the electricity rate hike petition. So with this, Di Malanta called Court of Appeals ruling unfortunate and disconcerting. So talagang hihintayin na lang natin yung result and hopefully is yung field fever naman siya sa mga tao.
Yes, okay. So that's it for our headlines. Now let's move on to what this episode is really all about. This topic might come off sensitive because it really is, especially in the country. So, itong topic na to, I personally want us to talk about the lack of knowledge. I want to say of most Filipinos about people with special needs. But before we dive right into the topic, let us first define who they are. So, according to research, a person with special needs means people who have physical, emotional, behavioral, or learning disability which limits minor to major life activities, including but not limited to physical activities like walking and bathing, social activities like interacting with people, impulse control, and behavior management. So, there's also dyslexia, dyscalculia, and so much more.
And I think it's really a good platform to talk about the stigma surrounding these people kasi their rights are also just as important, equally important with us. So, we need to know kung ano yung mga hindi pa nagagawa for them dahil yun nga, they have disabilities or special needs that we also need to help them to para makatulong sa kanilang mag-move forward into a quality life.
So, let's talk naman about facts. So, according to the 2010 Census of Population and Housing conducted by the Philippine Statistics Authority, approximately 1.44 million individuals, which accounted for 1.57% of the population, were identified to have a disability in 2010.
So let's dive muna into the numbers nung COVID-19 pandemic. So nag-conduct ng survey ang UNICEF in 2020 which gathered responses from over 39,000 individuals. So of which 6,000 represents children with disabilities. So lumalabas sa survey na these individuals face difficulties accessing essential services such as education services and learning resources, child development services, habilitation and rehabilitation services, and generally health services. So, among the respondents, 14% reported a decline in their mental health, with 12% mentioning their inability to access mental health and psychosocial support services. The main reason cited for the inability to access essential commodities and services were first, financial constraints, and second, the lack of transportation needs. And furthermore, the survey indicated an increase in the frequency of domestic violence and child abuse, affecting a higher percentage of males compared to females.
Okay, so now that we have laid off the statistics, now let us dig deeper through our personal observation and experiences. So, how do people, kayo personally, yung mga observations nyo, negative or positive, how do people or our community react to people with special needs, and how do or should we deal with it? Kayo ba?
So, I'll start muna. Kasi I have a brother, he's older than me, he's 23. And yung experience ko, actually, over time, naging immune naman na ako sa mga nasty looks in public. But every time we'd go out, like to the mall, anywhere, wala talagang araw na nililipas na walang kahit isang mangmamaliit or may masasabi.
Like anong mga sinasabi?
Kasi people with autism, they have this thing called stimming. It's when they feel super overwhelmed that they have to let it out through either sudden movements or verbally. As for my brother, yung kanya, when he's stimming, he claps suddenly, like continuously. So when he gets overwhelmed, kunwari nasa mall kami, and it gets kind of crowded already, there's so much going on, he feels overwhelmed and suddenly he'll stop walking. He has this urge to clap continuously. And a lot of people, alam mo, iba kasi yung look na nagulat ka lang na may pumalakpak. Pero iba din yung look na parang, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. And actually, may mga narinig na akong ganun, na bakit dinadala sa mall yung kapatid ko. And nung bata ako actually, syempre na-affect ako dun. Pero over time, naging immune na ako. Pero that's not how it's supposed to be. Why do I have to be immune to that? Diba? Dapat walang ganun.
Tsaka imagine how he feels, no?
Yeah, and meron, actually, hindi niya alam yung ganun. Like, hindi niya, ang kanya, kailangan niyang malabas yung emotions niya through stimming. And, so every time we'd go in public, may maririnig talaga akong ganun. And may one time, naalala ko talaga to na parang sinabihan yung mom ko or yung dad ko ata na parang, control your child. Girl, if we could, we would have, I swear. We can't control that kasi. Like, if they feel overwhelmed, they really need to let it out through stimming. And that's something that Filipinos are not very educated on, apparently. And ang dismaya lalo is sometimes galing pa sa grown men and women. Yung mga comments na gano'n, like grown men and women that you'd think would have even the slightest knowledge on people with special needs. Pero apparently hindi gano'n ang situation sa Philippines. And until now, na-experience namin yan when we go out in public with him.
It hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed. Ikaw, Simena, you also have a brother with autism,
Actually,
right?
same experience. Pero, specifically, sa amin is name-calling. Like, kasi sa may area namin, open, like court siya. Then, pag lumalabas yung kapatid ko doon, I've heard some people call him names like, Otnis, Mongi, ganun. Which is very hard for us na, syempre, family ka, tas alam mong hindi siya aware doon. Tapos, parang, wala kang, ang masasabi mo na lang is sasawayin mo yung tao, pero, alam mo yun, nandun pa rin yun. Like, hindi pa rin siya mawawala. Tapos, yung kapatid ko rin, meron din siyang steaming.
Steaming,
Ang kanya naman is like, gumagawa siya ng sounds.
Verbal yung steaming niya.
Verbal
Okay.
steaming siya. Gumagawa siya ng sounds. Tapos, ayun din, kapag nasa labas kami, magugulat yung mga tao na bigla maririnig na gumagawa siya. Like, basta, hindi ko ma-imitate yung sound, pero yun yung ginagawa niya. Tapos yun, actually, itong kapatid ko na to, he motivated me na mag-aral ng occupational therapies. Ayun yung first ever, hindi naman first, teacher pala yung first ever gusto kong mag-ano. Tapos second is yung occupational therapy. Kasi nga, parang na-inspire ako na, since nga, ang daming uneducated Filipinos about this, people with special needs, gusto kong maging part na mag-educate sa kanila, ganun. Ngayon, since nandito na ako sa path ko na to, in my own simple ways na, like, explaining them kung ano yung inaakto ng kapatid ko, yun yung ginagawa ko. Ikaw naman, Mau, di ba? I also heard na meron ka rin kapatid na...
May baby brother ako. Well, he's not a baby now. 9 years old na siya.
I thought 7 pa lang
No,
siya.
9 years old na siya. Name niya is Jacob. He has Down syndrome. And actually, ever since nung like, when he was born, for my own family pa lang, nagkaroon na ng different kinds of reaction for my brother. Kasi hindi siya, di ba parang when you get a relative na Down syndrome, parang may toxic side sa family na, ala, ano ko yung, ba't may ganyan, hindi normal.
Galing talaga sa
Nag-manage.
own circle niyo yung...
Genes ba yan? Blah, blah, blah. Pero, eventually, sa family ko, naging na-accept naman siya. Which is, I think, yun sana yung mangyari din when it comes to other people outside. Kasi, napapansin ko talaga whenever we go out and I'm with my brother, they only tolerate kung ano yung ginagawa ng baby brother ko for them. Kasi, pag napansin ko sa mga Down syndrome, they have the highs and lows. Very energetic sila.
Yeah, I noticed.
Tapos, another time, focus na lang sila sa isang bagay, kung ano yung
Yung attention span nila maikli talaga.
attention span nila maikli. So, pag sa labas, very energetic yung brother ko makimit yung people. And he really says hi to everyone he meets. You know that,
I know
diba?
that.
Tapos, pati yung guard, sabi niya, hi Kuya Guard, hi police. So, gaganan niya. Pero, you really see sa people na mag-hi na lang sila just for the sake of being respectful. Pero hindi you don't see na accepted siya, na hindi siya genuine. Para lang, kasi syempre nandun mom ko. Baala nga namang anuhin sila ng mom ko, ay anuhin nila yung brother ko sa harap ng mom ko. That's just mean. Kaya, every time na nagkakaroon ng ganyan na situation outside, honestly, personally, hindi pa ako nagkakaroon ng course of action whenever I do that. Kasi how do you even handle that, diba? Kasi you're only assuming na hindi nila ina-accept na tinatolerate lang nila kung ano yung ginagawa sa kanila ng baby brother ko. So,
He's not even doing anything wrong to begin with. Diba? He's the sweetest boy in
Yeah,
the world.
sweetest boy sa inyo.
Sa akin. I love Mouse brother.
Yeah,
I
kasi
love Jacob.
kaaway ka siya.
Ako kakampi nun.
Yeah, so ayun, I think that's really something na should be improved sa atin.
We always have this urge talaga to protect them. And add ko lang din,
part din talaga yun.
naalala ko lang before, when we were kids, we'd go to Sunday school every Sunday, and napansin ko, looking back, parang nine-neglect yung brother ko ng teachers mismo sa Sunday school. So parang I had this urge to like protect him from the world, pero to protect him in church? Like, why do I have to protect my brother in a safe place? And I think that just says a lot about how, yun nga, Filipinos are really uneducated kasi Sunday school teacher na mismo. Like, hindi naman yung sinasadya, pero parang, syempre, they're not equipped and they're not trained to deal with people with special needs. So, yung brother ko is always neglected, he's always at the side. Like, hindi ba lang nag-initiate yung teacher na, Carlos, come join the others. Like, wala talagang ganun. So, parang, why did I feel the need to protect my brother in a safe place? In a place that's supposed to be safe, which is church, di ba? And that just really says a lot.
Yeah. Siyempre, itong mga experiences natin, hindi lang naman siya basta negative lang din. Meron din naman mga positive, though sobrang bihira, sobrang minimal lang.
Yeah.
Meron ba kayong mga positive like experiences, ganun, about sa pakikitungo ng tao naman sa mga kapatid natin?
Ako, ang positive experience ko, honestly, more on positive experience with my brother kaysa sa people towards my brother. Kasi he really makes everyone happy.
He does. Yeah.
Super comical niyang tao kasi mahilig siya sa TikToks.
Yeah.
Bigla na lang siya magtutwerk sa gilid.
That's true.
Magtutwerk siya sa gilid tapos sasayaw ng, "Ay, Barbie!" Sabi ko na. Sasayaw niya yun. So,
Yeah.
super funny kapag siya yung kasama.
Entertaining talaga siya.
Entertaining.
Yeah.
Siya yung parang clown ng bahay namin, nagpapasaya. Pero kapag when it comes to other people naman na experience ko, I think ang positive thing is hindi naman nila dinidisrespect yung baby brother ko kahit papaano, and that's a good thing. As I think that's bare minimum na for them. Kasi everyone deserves respect. So kailangan regardless of kung ano yung capabilities mo sa life mo, you should really respect everyone and equally. Kayo ba?
Ayun din, ganun yung akin, comical din yung kapatid ko. Pero, more on, lahat naman napapasaya, kahit yung mga tao sa labas, like, kilalang-kilala na siya na may certain siyang pinapanood na palabas. Tapos, tinatawag yung mga casts nun, napapaano siya, parang natatawa siya, tapos natutuwa naman sa kanya. Tapos yun, pag nagpapahanap siya ng kanta sa akin, nagpapahanap siya ng kanta sa akin, ano lang, yung mga parang, gumagano lang siya. Pero, ang hirap nag-hum lang siya, minsan hindi ko pa maintindihan, pero ayun. Ayun yung mga positive experience.
Same din. More on personal yung experience ko na positive sa kanya. My brother kasi is kind of an introvert, which is why I don't have a photo of him. Pero ito siya. Hindi ko alam if makikita sa screen. But that's him. That's my brother. He's 23. And yung positive na ano ko sa kanya, personal din, na parang every time I see him, pagkain lang, sobrang saya na niya. Sobrang saya na niya. So every time I go home from school, na sobrang parang nagrereklamo ko sa lahat, and then I see him na parang, ay, pagkain lang, masaya na siya. It reminds me na parang, I too should be happy. Like, sa mga simpleng bagay. Like, he impacts me that way na parang, be grateful for everything talaga. Kasi kung ako nga, I'm a normal person, like, I can do things na hindi niya magagawa, tapos ang dami ko pang reklamo. Pero siya, sobrang saya niya, like, manonood lang siya ng cartoons, masaya na siya. So, when I see him like that, it reminds me to parang appreciate the small things in life talaga. Ayun.
Ayun naman yung nakakatawa din sa kanila talaga, yung ma-appreciate ng mga maliliit na bagay.
Totoo.
Okay, so before we hop right into the next part of our conversation, we will be back after a short break.
The fastest speed. The widest coverage. Experience it all from the Philippines' best mobile network.
That's the power of smart.
Nagtitiis ka na lang ba sa e-wallet at lumang bank apps mo?
Struggling! I can't receive payments na.
I need to go to the bank branch to deposit a check pa.
Singilan na! so hassle to do it one by one.
I need to send my bank deets again and again.
Tiis no more! With UB, hindi ka na mahahassle, hindi ka na magsistruggle, at hindi ka na magte-travel pa to the bank branch to transact. Ayos? Ayos! Download Union Bank online now.
And now we're back. This is Mau.
Si Mena.
Gia.
Sophia?
And I'm Kat.
So, before we go on, ano ba ulit ang mga kaganapan?
Eto na nga na. Nabalitaan niyo ba yung first sit-down interview ni Zayn after 6 years? Oo,
It's
6
all
years,
over
like,
TikTok, guys.
Oo, all over TikTok. Tapos parang, since first time ko siya marinig, nagulat ako doon sa accent.
Oo, ako din. Parang hindi ganun yung naalala ko.
Sorry, hindi ko binamak, pero nagulat lang talaga.
Yeah.
So doon, he talked about his departure from One Directions, na meron daw kasi mga misunderstandings na nung time na bago siya umalis. Tapos, meron din problem sa management, which is very obvious during that time. And then, meron din siyang yung pagiging niya sa limelight for years. Nagkaroon siya ng anxiety, nabanggit niya rin yun. And, nakwento niya rin yung fatherhood, and then his post-bag life, like lumipat siya from New York to Pennsylvania ata. And then, yung upcoming single niya rin, magkakaroon siya on July 21st. So, dun sa interview na yon, he said na he's stepping back to the limelight because gusto niyang, alam mo yun, parang yung anak niya, binibigyan daw siya ng confidence to do so.
Yeah.
Which is, we're very happy na kasi ang tagal nga niyang nag-hiatus.
Yeah.
So, ayun. So, hopefully magpatuloy and, someday makapunta siya dito sa Pilipinas. Ganun, di ba?
Hopefully.
Ayun.
Naging One Direction fan ba kayo?
For a while,
of
ako.
Oo, ako din.
Who was not?
Oo nga, actually.
Sa totoo lang.
Parang dati kasi it's either 1D or 5 sauce. I feel like I was leaning towards the 5
The vamps
sauce.
too.
And the vamps, yeah.
Ako nga, hindi talaga. Pero,
But
lahat
I
naman
had
yun.
my Harry Styles face when I was younger.
Ayun ang
I
face
still
ko
have
bago
my
mag-
Harry
Oh, you still do?
Ayun ang face ko bago ako mag-K-pop.
Koreano ka na ngayon.
Yeah, and it's good na, diba? Parang he's stepping out of his comfort zone
Yeah,
for sa support ng daughter niya. Tama,
He
diba?
also mentioned he was doing that so that his daughter can someday see it na
Yung
inspiration. My dad is so brave.
Parang nagsiset siya ng example.
Oo,
Yeah.
yun. Ayun.
And I think that's it's a good thing for na ginagawa ng parent.
Totoo.
So going back, we were talking about experiences with persons with special needs. So what if let's play a game na informative para makahelp tayo sa increased awareness about people with special needs.
Yeah, I would love that.
So our game today ay myth or fact.
Okay.
So familiar ba kayo doon?
Yes.
Basically parang siyang true or false, no?
true or
Pero
false,
parang
yeah.
fact or myth natin
Ito,
gagawa.
i-debunk natin
Yeah.
lahat ng myths. Hindi po kami expert, pero meron kaming mga experiences. So, yun. And-
So, the rules naman, the rules are very simple. So, we'll say a statement, then we'll discuss among ourselves if it's a fact or a myth. Yun lang. So, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so question number 1. People with disabilities cannot lead a productive life. Answer?
It's myth. Myth.
It's a myth.
Ayun.
So, kahit na may disability ang isang tao, they can still lead a productive life. And people in the spectrum naman, they all vary naman. Hindi naman lahat ay low functioning. Merong mga very high functioning na sobrang talino. They can actually land a professional job someday. So,
Yeah.
it's definitely a myth, guys.
And sorry.
May light bulb moment si Mau doon.
Ayun. That's super myth niyan kasi mas productive pa brother.
Actually, my brother goes to the gym, I don't.
Morning 6 a.m. gising na brother ko. Ako 1 p.m. ako nagigising.
They have routine, no?
Yeah,
May
may
routine sila.
routine. Oo, so hindi siya totoo talagang hindi sila productive. Like kami nga, we're not productive compared to them. Tapos
True.
sila hindi productive.
Tapos ayun pa, parang ano sila, ang dami ko rin kilala na matatalinong
Oo,
talaga.
totoo. Yung
May-
very high
may
functioning,
social-
yeah.
Oo, kaya nakakatawa din yun.
Actually, nung weekend, meron akong napanood sa isang night show. May na-feature yung dalawang twins na were blind athletes. And they are representing Philippines in international competitions talaga. So, that definitely debunks this statement.
Totoo.
Talagang they can have their own, kumbaga, mark on them.
Yeah.
Aside from their disabilities should not represent them at all talaga.
Definitely.
Exactly. Okay, for the next question, Gia.
Yeah. So, yung second question natin is it okay for it's okay for children to ask about people with special disabilities?
It's a fact.
So, syempre, hindi naman may iwasan lalo ng mga bata na maging curious at magtanong. Pero syempre, if yung question nagiging disrespectful na
Insensitive na
or
siya,
insensitive, pwede naman natin silang sabihan na mali yun. Tsaka syempre, parang start M yan. Parang bata pa lang, sabihan na natin sila yung mga dapat gawin, ano yung hindi dapat gawin. And syempre, nice naman yung approach para naman hindi nila na maisip na ano ba to? Parang nagbabawal naman ako nito. Nagtatanong lang naman ako.
Yeah.
Diba?
It's good to educate them while they're young.
Yeah,
pala.
while they're young. Kasi naalala ko lang din, parang growing up, may sort of stigma na inana sa akin towards people with disabilities. Kasi may tita din ako na may Down syndrome siya. Tapos parang natitreat siya as ano talaga, as someone na different talaga, na parang nasa-set aside na siya, na tita mo may ganito kasi siya, parang samahan mo, ba? Parang they make it known na hindi siya
na-outcast siya.
parang na-outcast siya na in a way. So parang growing up, parang yun yung naging pag nakakita ko ng ng mga people with disabilities, parang sa back of my head, yun yung naiisip ko. Pero syempre through social media and through constant education with different people in my life and with my teachers, my friends, and everyone else, I was able, and syempre, di ba, may baby brother ako na may Down syndrome. So, yun, dun actually pinaka naka-help sa akin na mas nag-open yung eyes ko sa pagtingin na mali talaga yung stigma na meron around them, na it shouldn't be normalized na ganun yung treatment towards them.
So it's important talaga na we should be the one to break that notion, guys.
Okay, so next question, we have Mau.
Yes, ang next question naman is, people with disabilities always need help.
It's a myth.
It is.
For me, personally, though, yeah, at times, kailangan nila ng help, pero most of the time, kaya nila yung sarili nila, which is nakakatuwa.
They're very independent,
Yeah,
actually.
very independent sila. Sobrang myth talaga nito. Like, napapatunayan sa experiences natin na hindi siya totoo. Ayun. Kayo ba?
Myth siya. Kasi, yung baby brother ko, mas kailangan ko pa actually ng tulong din kaysa sa kanya.
Parang lahat ng comparison. Kina-compare mo talaga ng dalawa.
Oo, kasi parang bigyan mo lang ng food, bigyan mo sa kanya iPad niya, okay na siya. Hindi niya na kailangan na, kaya nga naman pumunta sa CR, parang marunong siya pumunta kumuha ng food, marunong siyang patulugin sa sarili, or kaya niya lahat, pero yun nga lang, needy talaga siya. Kaya parang doon yung pumapasok yung kailangan ng help. Pero if like, if on a normal day,
Like companion lang hinahanap niya.
oo.
Yeah.
And actually, at times hindi. Kasi
I remember he's super clingy, di ba?
he is with new people and with you guys. Pero with family, kahit iwan mo lang siya
He'll be fine on his own.
he'll be fine on his own. Kahit whole day mo siyang iwan, okay na siya. He'll live.
Okay.
Okay, so yan din. Next question ay, all disabilities can be seen.
No.
It's
No, I don't think so.
Especially
Obviously.
people with autism, di
People
ba?
with-
Lalo na yun.
lalo
Pag
na
tahimik
yun,
lang
oo.
sila, hindi mo
Totoo.
mapapansin.
Oo. Ito ngayon sa kapatid ko, since bata pa kami noon, hindi talaga kami aware. Talagang late na lang din nalaman na since hindi siya nagsasalita, tapos meron siyang ibang behavior, hindi tulad ng mga nakagawian sa amin nung bata kami. So, hindi mo talaga malalaman kasi unless i-check up. Lalo na yun nga, yung mga may autism, yung kapatid ko may autism and ADHD. So, invisible disabilities aren't easy to spot and can conclude yun nga mga autism and whatsoever. So, ayun, parang
Hindi siya mahirap siya i-diagnose,
mahirap
lalo na
siya-
pagbata.
Oo, mahirap siya i-diagnose lalo pagbata. Kasi meron din ako pamangkin na na-diagnose din siya ng autism. And Ngayon, nag-ABA siya, nag-speech therapy. Hindi mo talaga malalaman, yun yung pinaka doon, bottom line. Hindi mo malalaman unless ipa-check up.
Actually, yung brother ko, nalaman lang nila na there's something wrong with him when I was born. Kasi ako daw, 2 years old pa lang, madaldal na ako. Yung brother ko, hindi pa nagsasalita. Doon na sila nagtaka na, bakit si Sofia nagsasalita na, bakit yung kuya niya hindi pa? So, ayun, they started to, buti na lang my parents are very intentional and they put him in a good organization, teamworks, and nag-OT siya, ABA, private tutoring, lahat talaga. Kaya sobrang nag-improve din siya. Kaya I feel like it's important for the government to implement free therapy, kumbaga. Kasi not everyone can afford that, guys. It doesn't come cheap talaga. So it's important na magkaroon ng mga interventions sa government supporting people with special needs talaga, guys. Kasi it doesn't come cheap. It really doesn't.
Okay, ayun. Some disabilities will become more obvious once you get to know someone, but many will be hidden unless they choose to tell you about it. Okay, so next, we have, before we go on with this conversation, Kat, meron ka bang gustong i-share?
Actually, so eto nga. Yesterday kasi, while I was eating, parang may biglang nag-news about smuggled meats na were found in may Kawayan, Bulacan, I think. So, ayun, this actually parang second time na this year na in that area na nahuli. So, almost 3 million worth of meat were confiscated sa may Kawayan Industrial Village sa Bulacan. So, ayun nga, pangalawang case na to this year where talagang hindi lang smuggled, kundi expired. So, bad meat talaga. And they, parang the first initial thought kung bakit ma-raid yung place was that walang business permit. But then towards the intervention doon, na found out pa nila na bad meat pa yung mga nando. So, ayun, warning on buying meats right now since we were just having the issue of swine flu sa mga pigs, ganon. So, ngayon we have to be extra careful dahil hindi lang pork meat yung nahuli sa area na yon. So, yeah.
Ayan. Okay, so now na nandito na tayo sa laws, we'll talk about the laws involving the people with special needs in the country. If it's felt, kayo ba? Meron ba kayong mga ideas sa laws natin?
I know one, yung Republic Act number 11650 or the Instituting a Policy of Inclusion and Services for learners with disabilities in support of Inclusive Education Act. So, itong act na to, this stress na ng government, may responsibility sila to promote and safeguard yung rights nating mga sisters and brothers natin na may special needs. So, they demanded na all schools, whether public or private, dapat may fair access sila to quality education para sa lahat ng mga learner with disability. So, dito kasi sa Philippines, merong 13K schools na may program ng special education. Pero, yung SPED centers talaga na focus talaga on specializing how to teach people with special needs. 5.1 million na people na meron tayo sa Philippines na may special needs. So, that's like when you compare it, that's very low sa kung ano yung population ng mga schools na specialized talaga for people with special needs. So, nung DepEd, stinate nila na ang ideal student-teacher ratio is dapat 15 students tapos isang teacher. Pero, 14,000 lang yung SPED teachers natin here sa Philippines. And with that, 4,000, I'm sorry. And with that current number of teachers na 4,000, 31 to 1 yung ratio ng current student ratio natin when it comes to teachers teaching people with special needs. And that's double of the ideal, which directly compromises yung quality education na nare-receive nila. So in the end, meron nga tayong mga facilities or programs na that would help them have a better quality or have a quality education, pero nako-compromise siya.
Yeah, exactly. Ayun nga, since yung student ratio na yun, parang, syempre, ang mga people with special needs, since they are in need of, special attention.
Yeah, they are.
So, kailangan tutuka talaga eh.
Lalo na if may ADHD
Oo, lalo na
yung-
pag may ADHD. So,
malilikot sila.
kung marami yung estudyante, tapos iisa ka lang, mahirap din talaga silang tutukan
Hindi mo
isa-isa.
mamamanage talaga
So,
yun.
makikita mo dito sa Philippines, hindi din talaga, kumbaga wala tayong access sa ganong yung ganong education na bawat children with special needs, matututukan mo, talagang
Limited talaga.
kumbaga, wala pa
Teachers
tayong
natin.
kumbaga, nandito pa lang tayo, wala pa tayo sa pinaka talaga kasi. Wala tayong nakikita pang changes, ayun. Tapos,
And about quality education, di ba na-mention mo kanina na yung brother mo, mismo sa school pa lang, parang naaano na siya ng mga teachers doon. So that really says a lot.
Sunday school.
Yeah, yung Sunday school. Na doon mismong, church yan, right?
In church.
In church, doon
nane-neglect
mismo
talaga
pa
siya.
lang, parang where's the quality education there?
Pero it's Sunday school lang naman. Pero
Yeah.
I think that says a lot din. Kasi still, teacher ka pa din.
Teacher.
Pero they're really not trained sa mga ganun. Parang yung iba nga nagugulat pa na may ganung estudyanteng pumapasok pag Sunday. So yung kapatid ko nakaupo lang sa isang side, di nila alam paano i-handle pag nagsisteaming siya, ganun. So,
ay naman din nakakalungkot din. Nakakalungkot din kasi, alam mo yun, dapat hindi sa pero dapat siguro lahat ng teachers trained din sa ganun kasi ayun yung parang one step to inclusivity sa ating mga children with special needs. Kasi if may mga teachers din talaga na uneducated regarding these cases, mahihirapan tayong mag-progress. Mahihirapan tayong parang pakita sa mga children with special needs na included sila,
Yes.
na accepted sila
Yes.
sa society natin.
So while we're talking also about education, I think it's also important for the government to implement vocational courses for people with special needs. Kasi not everyone naman in the spectrum are high functioning. My brother, he's mid. So ano yun, his life will stop after high school na, di ba? So hindi naman siya intellectually capable to apply for courses like ours, hindi naman kaya ng utak niya yun. So I think it's important magkaroon ng vocational courses and yung mga nagfa-facilitate talagang nagsispecialize sa people with special needs. Ganun. So we still don't have that so far.
So
It's very
actually,
limited.
yung the pandemic didn't help at all sa progress ng
Yes.
special needs
Yeah.
education sa Philippines.
Mas
Kasi,
nag-decline.
yeah,
Totoo.
nung actually may encounter kami one time for a research, we interviewed a special needs education teacher and hindi pa siya from the city, so from the province pa. And twice yung challenge na naranasan niya since she had to personally deliver the sheets na kailangan aralin. Personally, kumbaga door by door sa bawat student niya. And it's even harder dahil nga mag-isa lang siya and she has to do all the work pa, kumbaga. So that's her own, kumbaga, niya na yun, sarili niya ng initiative, to personally go. Kasi ang minimum requirement lang by that time is just to deliver the activities. Pero siya, she makes sure na she takes the time to actually sit down and teach pa rin despite the circumstance. So,
we need more people
yeah.
like that.
We need more
Napaka-intentional
teachers like
talaga
her.
and dedicated. Yeah.
actually, kasi she recognizes there is no one approach to children with special needs. So, alam niyang iba-iba yung required per one kid. So, ayun yung naging approach niya during the pandemic. And ayun nga, she really wants to advocate for more, hindi lang people like her, but alam mo yun, she initially hindi din naman siya Bachelor of Secondary Education in Special Needs Education kasi may ganong course talaga for teachers actually. But ayun nga, she wants lang na those who take such course ay i-push through nila till the end talaga. Kasi sometimes hindi rin talaga pinapursue yung course na yun kahit ayun yung kinuha ng mga some
Sobrang
teachers.
saludo. Saludo talaga sa
So
ganun.
we really need to have more people like that na
Definitely.
who wants to dedicate themselves to the cause.
Yeah.
Tsaka yung narinig ko rin, parang doon ko na-realize na kung sa urban pa nga lang ng city, very limited na. Paano pa kaya sa mga rural, sa mga probinsya talaga, yung mga sa mga bundok. So parang talagang doon pa lang na kailangan may gawin. And syempre, yung mga teachers din mismo yung mag-step up. Kasi minsan, nakikita natin sa mga bata, nag-umpisa na, sila na nagko-call ng names.
Yeah.
Sila yung parang very ignorant sila sa nangyayari. Parang hindi naman talaga nila at fault. Pero kailangan masabihan din sila. So talagang kailangan ng intervention na talagang may mangyari na step up para kahit papaano may makita tayong improvement.
Yes, that's right. So, ayun, before we go on with this conversation, let's head into another discussion of the hottest news yesterday. So, eto, hindi siya fun na hot news. Ano siya? Malungkot siya.
ano ba yan?
Bakit naman?
Have you guys heard of kung ano yung nangyari with the guard and
Oh,
the
yes!
yes. Yes, so ayun, mall guard fired after tossing puppy to death. So yesterday, it was reported that a security guard from SM North EDSA threw a puppy named Brownie
I'm going there later.
from a footbridge.
Yes.
Ganun kataas. So ayun, nangyari ito lahat para paalisin yung mga kids. Kasi sa mga kids doon, isa doon yung owner ni Brownie.
Mga namamalimos na bata.
So, para paalisin nila sa vicinity ng mall. So, ayun, kinuha ng guard yung puppy and then eventually, tinapon niya sa footbridge. So, this caused a public outrage kasi wala talagang regard for animals' life. Yung disregard with rights nila. And it's just really brutal for the puppy na wala namang ginagawa. And nadamay pa for kung ano yung purpose nung ginawa nung guard sa puppy na yun. So, what do you guys think about
I
this?
also read the Facebook post, yung nag-post mismo. Meron daw nagsabi sa kanya na, Kuya, bakit naman? Tapos sumagot daw siya, wala akong pake. Talagang ginawa niya lang talagang panakot yung aso. Pero that's too much. Why would you kill a dog? Why would you unalive a dog?
Like,
Diba?
hindi...
Hindi na tama talaga.
Oo.
Anong ginagawa nung aso? Diba? Grabe naman, guys.
Para lang magpaalis ka ng mga bata na nandun lang din naman naglalaro. It's just your din talaga yung attitude.
Yeah.
Lang.
And this just shows din na parang dito sa Philippines, I think, parang wala pa talagang masyadong great importance sa rights ng animals.
Kasi dapat na security guard na yun, na tingin niya
guard.
pwede niyang gawin yun. Diba?
So, ayun, yesterday naman, SM apologized and they dismissed the guard na from his position and binanned siya from all SM malls, so di na siya pwede mag-work doon. And yung company kung saan nag-work yung guard, yung RJC Corporate Services Incorporated, nag-release din sila ng statement on their sentiments with what the guard did on the matter and to support yung no animal cruelty dapat. So, ayun, moral of the story, animal rights is just as important as everyone's rights.
Respect for life.
Respect for life, everyone's lives. So, ayun, that's it for the hot news yesterday. Let's head into our short commercial break.
Ngayong July, may decrease tayo ng 72 centavos per kilowatt hour. 11 pesos and 19 centavos per kilowatt hour na lang ang overall electricity rate dahil sa lower generation charges ng ating suppliers.
With Globe, our steps can lead us to millions of doors opening, millions of paths unfolding, and millions of reasons to keep going. Now's the time to be with a network that gets better every day for you.
Iba ng panahon, dami ng bago ngayon. Pati ang mundo natin, well, nagbago na rin. Buti ang magbayad, bigger, better na. You can buy to centers, pati sa mga partners may online pa at app. You can buy it with your fingers, still don't remittance and more. Online shopping, you can buy it all. Di magpadala, you can buy it all. Anumang pera transaction, you can buy it all.
Sabayan ang pagbabago ng mundo for all your pera transactions, all new Bayan.
And now we're back. This is Vibe Check. I'm Kat.
I'm Mau.
I'm Simena.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Gia.
So nagbabalik tayo with one of the steaming news na is up for debate online right now. So yesterday, Senate President Mig Subiri released a statement on Pura Luca Vega's drag show with Amanamin remix and portrayal of the Black Nazarene. So his statement stated that this is the height of the misuse and abuse of our freedom of expression that borders on criminal activity. So Senator Subiri stated that this act is punishable under Article 201 of the revised penal code. So, anong thoughts niya about this? Kasi for me, this may be a gateway to further suppress freedom of expression. This might be yung kailangan nilang tool to really shut shut us off. Parang yun
Oo,
yung,
oo.
yeah.
Exactly. Actually, mixed.
Ako
mixed
din. Medyo,
emotions.
medyo ano
Medyo
ba,
ano ako
hindi pa stable yung
Switzerland.
ano ko.
Oo, yeah.
Yung
Kasi
side ko.
nakikita ko sa Twitter talaga ang daming against, ang daming namang ano. Pero syempre, since
As Catholics.
masyado akong ano dito sa medyo controversial yung take na to.
Yes.
Pero since ano tayo, Catholic country.
Yes.
So, alam mo yun, parang andun pa rin dapat yung respect sa ano. And sabi mo nga, since ginawa nila yun, parang lalong, since hindi pa sila fully accepted talaga sa ating society, parang mas lalo lang nilang binigyan ng ano.
Ng rason.
Ng rason ng mga tao para hindi sila tanggapin. Which is, alam mo, mahirap magsalita kasi very controversial.
Yeah, totoo.
Actually, sinabi ko about Catholic country, parang hindi progressive. Hindi siya progressive in terms sa ibang aspects, sa ibang usapin. Pero, with this one, parang, yun nga we are all for your inclusivity, for your acceptance in the society. So, medyo ako dun sa ginawa nila. Ayun. Kayo ba? Thoughts?
Takot ako magsalita. Mamaya mabash tayo dito, guys. Pero siguro masasabi ko na lang, give others the respect you also want to receive. Yun lang, quiet na.
Ayun. Bottom line, respect. Okay.
Respect.
Okay, so previously we were discussing about experiences, statistics, medyo we were heavy on numbers and the law. So, how about me and Gia? Kasi we don't have, personally we don't have someone we know na close talaga na have someone with special needs. So, Gia, may experiences ka ba?
Ako, ang masasabi ko, kasi nung bata talaga ako, wala akong kakilala din. So, nung growing up, ang pinaka siguro naging ko lang, yung representation ko sa TV, sa media, ganon, sa mga napapanood kong series, movies.
Yung
So,
anak ni Chris Aquino.
Oo,
Yun. Lagi nakikita.
So,
Si
parang,
Josh.
for me, parang surface level lang siya na, okay, ganito yung nangyayari. Tapos parang may talagang, napapakita naman in a way na pag may person with special needs, parang isolate sila, ganon. Tapos parang, for me, nakita ko nga din sa social media, parang superficial na parang, support natin, maging inclusive tayo, ganon. Pero may kita mo naman din pag sa totoong buhay, wala naman nangyayari. So, parang very surface level lang yung nakikita ko. So, nung narinig ko yung nagkakwento kayo kanina, parang dun ko parang mas nalalaman din. Kasi personally din, talagang parang masasabi kong mababaw lang din.
Yeah, and I don't blame you din dahil nga kulang.
Oo. Kasi sa school din naman, parang hindi rin talaga tinuturo. Parang sa buong student life ko, parang very pahapyaw lang. Hindi siya talaga i-explain. So,
Unless talaga may experience ka directly sa hindi mo.
Tsaka yun din, ang parang kung paano ko siya i-approach. Kasi parang, ayoko kasi na insensitive ako o kaya parang pag lumapit naman ako, baka sabihin ng plastic. O kaya ang naman nito, parang parang pabait effect, gano'n.
Pakitang tao.
Oo, pakitang tao. Pero kapag hinayaan ko lang, sama naman ang galing nito, ganyan.
May masasabi talaga.
Oo, so parang very, lang talaga ako na, yung kung ano yung nakikita ko, yun na, parang,
neutral lang.
Oo. Ikaw naman, Kat, ano yung
Actually,
experience?
kanina nagka-light bulb moment ako kasi you were all sharing your experience and nabanggit niyo na they really are energetic, parang in their nature, masayahin silang tao. And they are talented. So,
Super.
Yeah. Pero alam mo yun, I draw the line kapag nakikita ko kasi, personally ang experience ko, kapag ginagawa siyang something to make money out of, na yung talents nila. Actually, baka familiar din kayo dito sa mga public places, transportations and everything. May nakikita ako minsan na it's either blind people or deaf people na tumutugtog and they have their...
Sa mga MRT ba yan?
Yeah.
Sa mga palengke,
So,
meron.
I don't think na sila directly yung may choice nun kasi there's, alam mo yan, parang may someone in control of them to actually do that.
Or
to
they're
make
under
money
an
out of-
agency, you
Yeah,
feel like.
that. Kasi they have their, may sila parang image talaga, pare-parehas na may guitar, kunyari, kakanta, and parang ganun yung setup lagi.
Napansin ko din,
makes me
parehas
think
yung
na,
messages
mga
nila sa
nakatao.
carton.
there's
Diba?
really someone
Iisa lang.
behind it talaga. And
Yeah.
yun yung parang, I'm not sure kung bakit hanggang ngayon it's still existing. So, bata pa lang ako may mga ganun na talaga. And
hanggang ngayon.
that's really, parang it's not good.
Yeah,
Alam mo yun, pag
personally.
nakikita ko yun, I'm not sure if dapat kong i-tolerate by donating actually. Or, kasi hindi mo rin sure kung sa kanila
Sa
mapupunta
kanila.
yun eh. So,
Totoo.
I'm not sure if you should tolerate it or talagang lalagpasan mo na lang. So, that's parang I draw the line between making money out of their talents. Kasi they are naturally talented people
Yeah.
talaga. They are even, some are even talented than us. Kaya, ayun talaga. Oo. Ayun na naman yung Pero ayun nga, so sana mas maging accessible for us yung mga organization talagang gustong
Yes.
tumulong
Yep.
for people with special needs and not those na ginagawa silang pagkakakitaan.
Proper representation din.
Yeah.
Okay, so ngayon naman, I want to hear your thoughts on how we can remove the stigma. Actually, masyadong yung remove eh. How can
Lessen.
we, lessen, ayun. The stigma surrounding people with special needs.
So, ayun, first and foremost.
Nawala na yung light bulb moment,
First and foremost, we all have to educate ourselves and we have to make ourselves informed. Kasi in this era of technology, wala na tayong excuse to know certain
Wala talaga.
information. Ang magsasabi na lang kung ano yung determinant kung paano natin malalaman yung different information about them is kung gusto ba natin malaman, if willing ba tayong malaman, kasi easy access na yung information and ayun, parang kung gusto mo talaga i-broaden yung knowledge mo on how to advocate for them, how to help them,
How to understand
how
them.
to understand
Just one
them.
click away, guys.
One click away, nandiyan yung Google, search away and malalaman mo na
Yes.
with one. Lalabas pa yan kung ano yung mga short, diba, synopsis nung kung ano yung gusto mo malaman. So, it's really easy. Kailangan mo lang, you need to have the willingness and to search kung ano yung gusto mong malaman about them.
And it's important na mag-start tayo sa sarili natin. There's always more to learn, guys. Like ako, I always thought na alam ko na lahat about the spectrum. But every time sumasama ako sa mga events, ganyan. Sometimes yung organization that my brother is in, Teamworks, nag-host sila ng mga Christmas party. And then, mas lalawak yung knowledge ko na, ay, hindi pala lahat ng people with autism is like my brother. Some people are low functioning, other naman are higher. So, nung ko nakikita na like, they're all different talaga in their own ways. And like, buong akala ko, alam ko na lahat about it kasi I have a brother. Pero other people with special needs, with autism, they're really different. And dun ko na-realize na there's always more to learn, guys.
Yeah, and that's what makes them special.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Ikaw naman, Gia, meron ka bang thoughts?
Yeah, based sa mga narinig
Narinig
from
mo,
us.
outside experiences, personal experiences, ano namang thoughts?
So, based sa mga narinig ko, talagang naano ko na, parang kailangan mas maging maingat tayo sa mga sinasabi natin. Kasi minsan nakikita ko sa personal, tsaka sa social media, yung pag-name calling,
Yes.
yung parang kunwari,
Very prevalent.
Please.
parang, kahit minsan, yung wala kang special needs, tapos kunwari bigla siyang binash sa Facebook. Parang yung name calling, ay ganyan, ay ganito, ganyan.
Yeah. oo.
Parang, bakit ginagawa natin siyang parang term na pang-inis? Parang naging,
Tumak.
Oo. Tapos parang, syempre, di lang sa social media, mas malala pa kung sa labas. Lalo na kung hindi informed or hindi sila aware na mali yun. So,
Like
kailangan...
ako personally, natawag akong autis ng dati kong friend. Tapos hindi niya alam na I have a brother. Tapos syempre, di rin naman niya alam na insensitive yun. So, parang, tinatawag mo ako autis.
Pero even if you don't have a brother, it's still
Oo,
offensive to call
And
someone.
ewan ko, I feel like it's common knowledge na ngayon. Guys, it's all over the internet. Like,
Yeah,
dapat
especially
educated
right
ka na
now.
talaga.
So, bumabalik din talaga siya sa...
Pero she didn't mean to offend me naman. Sadyang ganun lang siya, ay, autis ka.
Di lang
Siguro
siguro.
dahil
Hindi niya lang talaga alam na you shouldn't use that term. Kasi some people are actually suffering from autism. Diba?
So, talagang manggagaling din talaga sa sarili mo na ikaw yung mag-search. Ikaw yung
Yes.
magkusa na ano ba yung dapat sabihin, ano yung hindi dapat sabihin. Tsaka kung
Yes.
alam mo naman in the first place na hindi na maganda yung sasabihin, quiet na lang po talaga. Wag na lang po. Tigil na natin.
But at the same time, if kunwari nakarinig kayo ng mga words na hindi tamang sabihin kasi nakakaano siya for people with special needs, you can correct them in a nice way.
Yeah, kasi some people really don't mean it eh.
Yeah.
It's just for them, it's for fun lang eh.
Oo. Kasi naalala ko merong time na yung classmate ko, parang may nasabi siyang hindi magandang term for it. Pero hindi niya minin yun. Pero siguro kasi I have a baby brother na may Down syndrome nga.
Ginawa niya mo.
Ha?
Mongoloid ba yung term?
Hindi naman. Pero gusto niya kasi maging special education na
Okay.
teacher doon. So parang may nasabi siyang hindi sa ear ko na parang mali to So na-call out ko siya pero hindi ko siya na-call out in a nice way. Siguro masyado akong nagpadala sa emotions ko. So yun yung na-learn ko din na okay, tama yung pinaglalaban mo pero at the same time say it nicely kasi hindi mo alam kung ano yung where they're coming from, kung ina-assume mo lang ba na minamock nila or kung ganito ba. So you really have to educate people in a nice way.
Yes.
Okay.
So, one thing then na I learned from what I've heard is, ayun, to be inclusive nga. Pero alam mo, sometimes kasi yung pag-treat mo sa kanila differently, yung nakakapagparamdam sa kanila na different nila, that's also not nice din, no? Right? Yung talagang super halata na iba yung approach mo sa kanila, that's not being inclusive nga. So, we have to be more careful with that as well. And ayun nga yung mga terms na kailangan. Sometimes you just absent-mindedly don't really know what's the right term for it. So, ayun talaga nagre-require talaga ng further effort from your side to actually learn those na what's a good term and what's offensive. Ayun talaga.
Exactly.
It's important talaga to educate. Add ko lang din while we're talking about educating other people. Naalala ko dati yung may tinatawag kasing shadow teacher. Yung kuya ko, parang to follow him around in school, gano'n. Tapos naalala ko, may na-mention siya na like, may kaklase daw yung kuya ko na mongoloid. Galing na yun sa SPED teacher So parang ako, that's not the right term. We use Down syndrome, mongoloid. So it's important to educate them talaga.
Yeah, and as for me naman, talagang para ma-break tong stigma na to surrounding them, kailangan mag-start din sa government. We need a call for action for the officials to, alam mo yun, magbigay sila ng platform for these, for the people with special needs na, or advocates for people with special needs, para alam mo yun, mas what do you call this? Ma-address yung stigma na surrounding them. Ayun, for me.
And to make therapy also accessible. For everyone.
Yeah,
Exactly.
kaya kailangan talaga bigyan ng budget yung
Yes.
yung area na yon.
Saka you know, the teachers, they are instruments pa lang, They are working under a much bigger system. Ayun nga. Which, you mentioned earlier ba na from 2020, walang allotted budget for special education?
Hindi ko pa siya na-mention, pero oo, from 2020.
Narinig ko rin yan actually. Na up until na walang
Budget for
zero
it.
budget for SPED. Which is really saddening kasi how are we supposed to like progress or be inclusive if sa government mismo hindi like wala silang action towards this kind of
Sa education.
sa education.
Kasi the teachers can only do so much, no? Kahit may initiative sila, they are still functioning under a
Limited
system,
oo.
Oo.
Limited
So they can, di naman nila pwedeng abonohan ng lahat, no?
Yes,
So they
exactly.
really have to have that kind of allocation for them specifically. Dahil, ayun nga, na-mention natin na talagang kulang pa sa bansa natin yung recognition for special education talaga.
And also, yun nga, meron tayong Magna Carta for disabled persons. Kahit na meron tayong ganon, this effort falls short, particularly when it comes to meeting with the needs of Filipinos with autism. Due to the broad spectrum of needs, it is essential to meet their profound and unique requirements. So, government has yet to create a consistent and clear diagnostic process, give people with autism access to services, support, and employment opportunities, reduce or eliminate discrimination, and allow the private sector to offer pertinent services. So, yun nga, since wala tayong budget for that, hindi talaga ma-achieve ang gusto nating
Inclusivity.
Inclusivity, acceptance, and whatsoever. So with that, alam nyo, if there's one thing I have learned from this episode is that despite having a personal experience around people with disabilities, there is still yet to learn about them. Like what Sophia said.
Yeah.
Also, treat people with kindness.
Yes.
Ayun ang
Yeah.
pinaka talaga
Yes.
bottom
It's
line.
not hard to be a decent person.
Yes.
Yeah, doesn't
Okay.
require talent to be kind.
Yun nga, kasi nga it costs nothing to be nice.
Yes.
Saka hindi natin alam kung may pinagdadaanan o wala ang isang tao.
Tama.
Kaya we have to remind ourselves to always be kind and gentle to everyone around us.
Tsaka it doesn't take a lot to learn about these matters anymore. And nga, just a few clicks, andyan na the information is already available. So, let's make an effort to be informed, to be inclusive, and of course, to be humane.
Yes.
And let's also not forget that as we passionately fight for our rights, fighting for the rights of those with disabilities and special needs are just as equally as important.
Yes.
It's easy to forget na we are not the only people here in the world who need help. Pero, but with the access to various information, it's also just as easy for us to stay informed on things that could help Filipinos with special needs and disabilities.
Alam nyo, people with special needs, they may seem so different from us, but in many aspects, we're all the same. We long for love and acceptance. And most people look down on them, they may pity them, but if anything, I think we should be the ones to learn from them to
Yeah.
appreciate and find joy in the simple things in life and to always be a child at heart.
Yeah.
Wow! Ang ganda na naman!
Ang ganda na naman ang outro queen natin. Okay.
So, ayun. So, I hope you learned something. Ang katulad nga nung sinasabi nung prof ko, I hope you also unlearned.
Yes!
So, sana nag-enjoy kayo sa pakikinig at marami tayong natutunan. So, once again, this is Vibe Check and I'm Gia.
I'm Kat.
I am Mau.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Simena.
And
See you in our next episode!